Brendan, reflecting on the Champions League campaign, how do you now build on those performances to go one more next time?
Yeah, well, obviously, it was a campaign that was full of growth and improvement, and that was very clear to see. So, yeah, I think the next, we've set the standard for the next steps going forward, and we'll, our game tomorrow was the first step on that journey to get back there. So but it was a wonderful campaign, and really proud of the players and how they performed, and how they got over many aspects within the campaign of adversity, and the quality of our football, the resilience, the grit, everything you have to show at that level. So but it's gone now. So we get ready for our next game.
How would you say that performance was on Tuesday as an advert for Scottish football?
It was obviously, I said after the game, it was great for Celtic. It was great for Scotland as well, in terms of showing that we actually can be competitive at that level. I think people who have watched the game up here watch it closely. We'll see how we play and see some of the games that we've had against top teams and how we perform. So, but to ask the players to go into that arena and play without that fear, and but then to actually produce that performance, I was so happy for them. Obviously, really disappointed for them at the end, because they didn't deserve that. To go and perform how they did, they at least deserved that extra time. But it didn't come. Over the two games, we created chances. In the main, we defended really well. And we just have to use that as a vehicle going forward.
Have you been given assurances by the board that you'll be able to reinvest what you earned from the Champions League for next season? Well,
it's not even a conversation. So we've literally just finished our Champions League campaign, and we will look at that in the summer.
Have you had a chance, Brendan, to look back at the game and speak with your players and almost look at what you have achieved? You've gone to the Allianz Arena, one of the toughest stadiums in the world, leading 1-0 until the 94th minute.
Yeah, I think that, I think everyone knows you can't take away that what Bayern Munich are. They are a European giant, probably one of the top 5 clubs in the world, and everyone who was there would have felt the arena and the atmosphere and everything of what you have to cope with. So for us then to go and play to that level and be so close, it's a huge testament to the players and how they've worked, and the composure that they had and the nerve that they had to go and play how I asked them to play. So we touched on it this morning, just to reflect on the game itself, like we do every game, reflect on the performance level, and then we draw a line under that, and that's the lever to push on and be really hungry to get back there next season.
Yeah, what's the message been, Brendan, to the players over the last few days then, now that you've just got domestic, the cup and the league to focus on?
Well, I said after the game to the players that it's a real sign of how we've developed, that we're sat in here at this stage of this competition against a club of this magnitude, and we're really disappointed. But I said that to come and perform that well, we must draw the positives on that, and now we look forward. We've got 2 titles and more to play for back home, and we've got a few months to go, so let's finish off on what can be an absolutely brilliant campaign for us.
Brendan, I think you said it's like the other night, the kind of occasions you came back for, to see example again, looking how far your team's come, what the potential it is, are those the kind of nights that can persuade you to stay a bit longer than the 18 months left in your contract?
Well, yeah, to be fair, we've not really had any conversation around that. I think that what we will look at here, what's the very best thing for Celtic? Above any individual will always be what's right for Celtic. But certainly when I came back, domestically my record was okay, and I wanted, I knew to become better in Europe, I needed a stronger squad. The club been fantastic that way in terms of providing that. We've shown that what we can do, and all within the finances of the club. And hopefully going forward we can continue to push that way, so we can keep, as I said, becoming a seasonal team at that level and challenging. So, but no, in terms of the length of me staying, I'm obviously very happy here, and but it will always be what's best for Celtic. And but in this moment in time, the real focus is finishing the season as strong as we can.
We look at our performance at night, Brendan. People maybe from the outside before the campaign might have thought there's a glass ceiling in what a team like Celtic can achieve in the Champions League because of the financial budget you touched upon. But do you think you've shown that maybe isn't the case? If you can push it a little bit further, you can go a little bit further in the competition even still?
Yeah, I think there are financial levels that we could never get to. I think that's clear. You know, people would talk about going to the next level, but that's always going to be a challenge for a club like ourselves, or clubs without the finances of the really elite clubs. But we can certainly get to the next stage, and the next stage being like what we've shown this season, that with the level of game that we can play and the confidence that you gain, because that's a big thing at this level, having the confidence to go to these, like the Allianz Arena, and play that way. And so that'll give the players a huge lift of confidence. And there's no reason then why, if you can qualify out of these group stages, and we can perform like we did, then there's no reason why you can't then move on to a last 16 or a quarter final. But that's all obviously part of the plan going forward, hopefully.
You obviously have a qualifier next year. It's not straight into the group stages. I just wonder how much the wheels are already in motion in terms of the planning for next summer, to allow any signings to come in early and make sure that you're ready for that playoff time.
Listen, I don't want to start talking about qualifiers for Champions League. We're not a champion yet, so we've a lot of work to do in the league. We get the games that we have left, so we have to finish the season strong. But Champions League, Europa League, whatever, we plans are well underway, and a lot of work going on to look to improve our squad. And
in terms of how you respond to the way that the game ended, the cruel nature of it, what's the psychology of picking the players up from a result of that? Or is it, you can look back to the pride that the performance you put in, is it a difficult one?
Not really. No. I said to the players after the game, and you can hold your head up so proud, because you think of the level of the opponent and the other team, and they come off, and what you look for in this game is respect. And you'll come off the pitch, and them guys will respect you for what you did over the couple of games, and these are guys that'll be challenging for maybe the Champions League itself. So for that, again, the disappointment was there naturally because of the nature of how the game ended. But no, I said to players, for us to be sat here feeling like this, it really shows how far you've come, really, because I looked in their eyes after the Dortmund game, and that was a real tough one. So it just showed you the mentality and the resilience and the grit that this team have, that they overcame that, recovered from the setback, and then we pushed on, and we went back to the hotel, we had a beer, and then got back to training the next day.
Did you have a worry just after that Dortmund game? Because as a kind of result, you could imagine wheels come off, you sort of panic, players lose their confidence, lose their nerve. But they didn't do that, obviously go to Atlanta and show that they took the lessons of that. Yeah, I think in moments like that, it's like in life the same, isn't it? It's when it's coming. It's one of the things you can anticipate in your life. The sun doesn't shine every day for you, so it's always how you react and how you recover from the setback. And so after that game, it was a bruising night for us. But I think we showed, and I said at the time, it was a bit of a freak result because the nature of every shot they had went in and everything went for them. And I think we've proven that over 10 games that was that. But you still at that time have to come back from it. And the players did that. And they rallied around. It wasn't a nice evening to experience, but
I know through my experience in life and football that it'll be a great measure for us. And the next game we come back, we won, we got there in the end, and then we were able to grow from that.
You mentioned you mentioned having the wee beer after the game in Bayern. How important is it to recognise moments like that, just to kind of take the sting out, maybe the pain of the loss, and just let the guys reflect on what's been obviously a very good campaign?
Yeah, because they very rarely get the chance to do that. Very rarely get the chance. Don't worry, it wasn't a typical maybe Scottish night. It wasn't what you would consider. It was a nice relaxed beer and a wine, and then we trained the next day, stayed overnight, trained the next day, and getting ready for Hibs. But it's very important that you can just reflect a little bit and relax and think about the moments within the game and the performance, but very quickly you have to move on.
You mentioned, Brendan, about the nerve that the players showed to play the way you asked them to play. Even just going back to the first leg, maybe the first 50-60 minutes, Bayern had a lot of the ball, but you came through it and during that game, and then to go to Bayern and show that you could play the ball around the way you did as well. Is that the sort of thing that can accelerate the team's confidence that they've come through that? Yeah,
well, I think from a tactical perspective, the players were outstanding. I said before the first game, we need to make sure we're alive in the tie, because that's the game. You can play at home and go gung-ho, and then you're 3-0 down, 4-0 down, and you're playing your second leg, and you're virtually out of the tie. So for us, it was really important to make sure with our level of quality that we're in the tie. We had moments, and then we were able to then, in the last 25-30 minutes of the game, then go and really push, and then that gives you then the confidence then going into the second leg that we can go. And I've always said here I was looking to build a team that had power, had pace, had creativity, had unpredictability, and also can go into any arena in the world and play our game. And the players showed no better example of that than on Tuesday evening.
I know you spoke to Martin and Neil immediately after the game, but can you give us a flavour of the sort of reaction you've had on your phone, people you know in the game getting in touch to talk to you about, that respect that you talked about that Celtic have brought back in Europe?
Yeah, listen, obviously the performance merited that and what the players gave. So yeah, now there's obviously a lot of nice things said and compliments, which is great, and will give us again, like I said, the feeling going forward that we can push on. So, but yeah, and listen, we always respect everything that comes our way when people recognise a performance at that level. So, but like I say, it's in the past now.
How satisfying was it for you though? People had talked to you about could you do it in Europe as a manager the last time, and being able to do what you've done this time as well and prove that at Celtic you can take this team to performances like that.
Well, without being arrogant, I always feel I can do that. I think I've done that in my career. I've won big games. When I was here the first time, the reality is maybe our squad wasn't built for that. It was built for domestically we were very good, and it was a challenge then for us going into European football. I only need to look at when I was there the last time in Bayern. So no, but listen, you will always have critics. There'll be something else. You do something else, and someone will say something else. But that's the way life is and the way the game is. So for me, I'm not really too bothered what people think or would say. My focus is very clear on helping this club progress at that level and have credibility in Europe. And that's what I wanted to achieve. I think we've done that this season, and now we've got to hopefully sustain that over the coming seasons.
Just looking at Saturday, how are the squad? Because obviously the vast majority of them played the full 95 minutes in Bayern as well. Does that take its toll? Do you have to freshen things up maybe more than usual?
Well, the players are in a great place physically. I think that's been one of our hallmarks this season, the physicality in the team. in the main has been really good, and especially after European games. So no, we obviously played on the Tuesday. We've had a couple of days to recover. Had a good session this morning and design our plan for the game. And obviously we have a game Saturday, a game Tuesday. So yeah, it's going to be a tight turnaround. But whatever team I play, I'll be looking to impose our style on the game.
We were just chatting to Jeffrey. He was giving us insight into his 90 minutes and just how frantic it was for you, for him coming in so soon, but to have slotted in so sort of seamlessly into that. What does that say about the player that he is?
Yeah, and the professional he is. He fits what we do here, which is the reason why we brought him. I'd obviously spoken with Jeff in the summer with an idea of bringing him here then, and then it worked out that we couldn't get him here. There was a possibility that Kieran was coming back, so we left it late. But obviously when that was the case, he definitely wasn't able to come back, then Jeff was my first port of call, really. So, and you can see he has fantastic attributes, his physicality in the game. I thought he was brilliant the other night, having to get through the game like he did. He was absolutely superb in the game. But yeah, he settled in really well. He's only been here obviously a few weeks, but he's settling into the rhythm of the team, which takes a bit of time. Just getting the feel for a team that's having the ball a lot of the time and the movement patterns within that. But also defensively, he was really strong against his former teammate. So yeah, I was so pleased for Jeff. He's a good guy. He's come here, fit it in very easily and very well.
Might there be a conversation to be had to prolong his stay? Is that possible?
Well, we'll speak throughout our time here and communicate, and we'll see what develops.
As I say, a young guy comes here with a big price tag and the expectation that comes with that. But was that a real kind of coming of age performance for him the other night?
Yeah, I think he's been developing and growing right the way through the season. Like you say, Graham coming in with everything around him, but he's really developed into the style of our game. Understands the movement patterns and the physicality. If you look at his data and everything over the course of this competition, and that physicality, which I've been really impressed with as a team, but for him in particular, he's been very, very good for us. So yeah, he was excellent. But I think he's been improving every week he's been here. So yeah, just a shame for him. Like I say, going back to Germany and not being able to, once they get the result, we got a fantastic result. But obviously over the course of the two legs, we just didn't quite manage it. But he's been doing really well.
What do you expect from Hibs tomorrow, Brendan?
Well, they're obviously going to be high in confidence, I feel. They've picked up over the last few months really well. Delighted for Dave. I think I mentioned here the last time when I spoke that managers need time, and especially young managers coming in. They need that time, and but he's turned it around really, really well. So they look a team that's got confidence. They're very happy in the structure, how they play. They get the ball forward quickly. They get it wide. They get crosses in the box. So we know there's going to be moments where we have to defend the game, but for us, we want the 3 points, so we know we have to go and get them.
Any fresh knocks from the other night or injuries now?
No, everyone's fine. James is back out on the pitch now the last 3-4 days, so he's working away, but he's obviously not near to coming back as of yet. But injury-wise, everyone's okay.